Hey, everybody. Welcome to the nation. I'm JT, along with my co host, Barbecue Hall of Fame member Leanne Whippen, coming to you from the Turn It, Don't Burn It studios, respectively, in Portland and Tampa. We thank you for listening today to Barbecue Nation. We thank you for letting us also take up a little bit of your time. We'd like to thank the folks at Painted Hills Natural Beef, beef the way nature intended. You can check them out online at paintedhillsbeef.com. Well, two Hall of Fame members today. We have a track record of doing that around here. But this one's an icon, a legend. Ardie Davis, Barbecue Hall of Fame member, one of the founding members of KCBS, and one of the truly great guys of barbecue. Ardie, welcome back.
Well, thank you. I wish I could live up to your praise, but thank you.
I think you've already done that. I do.
I have a question right off the bat. What number are you for KCBS?
Judge number?
Yes.
I'm judge number 2.
Ooh.
I was a charter member of the Barbecue Society, and then somehow there was a glitch with the computer, so the member numbers are different than they used to be. I was one of the first 25.
And was Gary Wells number 1?
Judging?
Yeah.
Ed Royth.
Oh, Ed. Okay.
We wrote the curriculum together, and we decided. I said, Ed, you go ahead and be 1, and I'll be 2 because I'll have to work harder.
So given that, do they retire your number like they do like in football or basketball? Congratulations on your Chiefs, by the way.
That is the idea. I proposed the certification program when I was on the KCBS board, and the board approved it. And part of the proposal was that the judge numbers be retired, that they be for forever for each judge.
But
I agree with that.
But the judge had to retire prior to that.
Well, retire or
pass away.
Yeah.
I was trying to avoid that, but well, I think that's a good thing. So when you go into the office there, are they hung up from the rafters, like number 1 Ed, number 2 Ardie, that type of thing?
No. It's just you get a judge badge, and that has your judge name on it and your number.
Okay.
And it's also on your membership card.
Well, I think they should make a walk of fame, not a Hall of Fame, but a walk of fame in the office there for like.
Yeah, they have a Hall of Flame, I think, or something like that on the wall.
Okay. I've not been there, so I'm just talking out my ears here. Like that's nothing unusual.
Yeah.
But
well, it's a nice place to visit. Right next door is Boulevard Brewery, so if you're thirsty, good place to go.
I think
very convenient.
Leanne has spent some time there. I'm pretty sure.
No, I have not. I have not actually.
Oh, they even have a little bit of food, and you can try that with some of their latest brews.
Sounds
good
like
to know. Good to know.
Good job to have to be the taste tester there. So, Ardie, looking back, I want to do this show in kind of a reflective nature for you.
Okay.
Leanne and I were both there at the Jack this year.
Glad to see you both there.
Yeah, it was very
great.
touching to be there for you retiring, and anyway, it was very emotional for me.
That was same here. It was a difficult decision, but like Monty Python said, I'm not dead yet.
Right.
When you retire, I said rewire, to hoping to negate that stereotype, because you're looked at as a lame duck, and I'm still very much alive and active, and I'm enjoying writing, and I do local contests where I swear in the judges, and I've passed along the Magic Hickory Nut tradition and the burning of regrets to Brian Nowotny, who lives near here. So it still has legs, and I'll still be involved and still cooking, still learning.
That's
I
good.
I thought I saw you yesterday up in the skybox with Taylor Swift and Jason Kelsey out there.
Well, I was watching, but I wasn't there. It
Oh,
was almost as cold here as it was there. So
oh, well, I know you're a diehard Chiefs fan, so
yeah,
and we will not bring up the Tampa Bay
well,
Buccaneers for Leanne there. That's
yeah, I felt bad for
No,
the Bills because as a
I did
Chiefs fan,
too.
you've been there before,
Hmm. Yeah, it's tough.
and the
it,
Ravens, I'm worried about them and the Chiefs. So it's
uh, you'll be all right.
It's been an interesting year.
yeah,
You'll be all
yeah.
right there. I'll tell you. I was
And I tell myself it's only a game. You know, that's
Hmm.
the expression.
Hmm.
There's always
yeah,
next year.
yeah. All that's true, but you still like to win. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
who's
true.
kidding
It's
who?
good. It's good for the local economy for one thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Do you ever make it to a Chiefs game there at
I
Arrowhead?
never have made that. Our son does corporate sales, and he's been invited to booths there. I've been in a booth, but not during a game. I've seen the stadium. We had a American Royal barbecue contest there one year, and but I've heard the crowd is kind of rowdy, so I haven't really wanted to go.
Hmm.
Plus, on TV, I can see the whole thing.
Well, that's true. That's true. And you don't have to wait in line to get a beer.
Right.
You can
And
go to the fridge and get one.
I would enjoy the tailgating. There's a
Yeah.
very active tailgating phenomenon there.
Yeah.
But
Do you have any KCBS members that are
oh,
proficient
sure.
tailgaters there at the
Oh,
Chiefs?
definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's I think 17,000 members and a lot of local members. And you can bet you'll see some tailgaters at any
okay.
game from KCBS.
So since you were there with Gary and Carolyn and everybody else at the beginning, as it were,
Yeah.
and you took on the duties of writing the oath and swearing in the judges at different cook-offs and events and things. When you started that, did you imagine you would be where it's at today?
No, I'm amazed. I mean, we're approaching the 40th year, and for an organization to survive that long, just as a volunteer organization, it's quite an accomplishment.
What about the size and the
Well,
vastness of that
I'm
too?
I'm amazed. On the one hand, I can remember when I was writing to people and saying, "We have almost 300 members. I hope you join." Now there's 17,000 and counting. I think it's been as high as 20,000, and I hope to see it grow some more because there are literally millions of people who barbecue in their backyards, and there aren't millions of competitors, but there are millions of people who love barbecue.
Oh,
So
that
we
is true.
hope to reach out to them.
I find it fascinating that a number of the people when we were at the Jack, Carolyn was there,
Hmm.
saw you there, uh, people that were been very instrumental in what do I want to say, propagating the life of barbecue out there in the world. Um,
Well,
when you
you two
guys
are part of that team, so it takes a village, as the old expression goes. It
Hmm.
takes all of us.
Yeah, it does. It does. But I always have a lot of reverence for people that start things like KCBS and see it through. And, Leanne was just a little shaver,
Right.
when all this started and her dad drug her along. I don't think he had to try
Hmm.
too hard to get her to go. But
No,
Well, I really miss Jim, I'll tell you. He
as do I. Yeah.
had, yeah.
but when you see that, you think it's in good hands these days? I mean, what are they going to do? Fire you if you say no?
Well,
I mean, no.
you know, I'm relieved to no longer be on the board because it's hard work. It's a big responsibility. And I've seen, board members that do the job well and some that, it's a whole mix. So overall, um, I vote, I do my best, and I think for the most part, they do their best. Of course, the two people I voted for didn't get on, but that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
Yeah,
Well, and it's difficult. Like you pointed out, it takes up a lot of time.
yeah,
And when you get into an organization like this and it starts growing because it's actually got a grassroots, if you will, foundation, in this case, barbecue,
yeah,
uh, the commitment has to be there for people to really make it work.
right.
I've been on boards where people, yeah, they want to be on the board. They made about 2 board meetings and then you didn't see them for 6 or
Yeah,
8 months. So it's very tough.
yeah. Fortunately, my impression is the board members at KCBS are very active and they show up for the meetings because they can do now. Fortunately, we can do virtual meetings,
Yes.
so it's hard to avoid it if you're on the board. And the ones who are there, they don't want to avoid it. They take their responsibility seriously.
Did all the time you were on the board and affiliated with KCBS? We've only got about 30 seconds here, Ardie.
Okay,
But did you get enough to eat?
always, always. That's one of the perks.
That's one of the perks. We are going
Yeah.
to take a quick break and step away. But we'll be back on Barbecue Nation with an icon, Ardie Davis, Remus Powers. And we're going to talk more with Ardie in just a few minutes. Stay with us. Welcome back to the nation. That's Barbecue Nation. Ms. Whippen and I are glad you're with us today. If you'd like to email us or follow us, we've got Facebook platforms and Twitter pages and Instagram. Leanne's big on Instagram. Or follow us, like I said, on Facebook. Very easy. Or you can just flat email us. Go to barbecuenationjt.com and there's a way there that you can send us messages directly. So we're talking with Ardie Davis today. Last time Leanne and I both saw Ardie was in Lynchburg, Tennessee, about 3 months
That's
ago,
right.
and you were just walking down the street, and I just came
Yeah.
up and put my arm around you.
Yeah. And then the Thursday night, I was glad to see you at Bad Byron's Butt Ranch.
Yeah,
that
that's
he
always
puts
fun.
on a good party.
He sure
But
does.
You
yeah,
know,
and then at the Jack down in the Hollow, as they call it, in Thomas Wiseman Park, I was elated to see you both there. And one of the things on my bucket list, being my last time, was to see Abe Lincoln again. Fortunately, he was there, so I got a picture with him.
well,
Yeah, I saw him too. I
Yeah,
did.
he
Yeah.
looks so much like Abraham Lincoln. He's dressed like him and has the beard and everything.
I missed him.
Well,
You didn't see him?
I missed him.
Wow.
it's funny.
Wow.
He's a man of few words. I said, "Now, what's your real name?" Well, he said Abe, and then he said Mike. So,
It's Abraham Michael Lincoln
yeah,
Johnson. There you go. There
yeah.
you go. Uh, let's go back a little bit more, Ardie, from where it started to where it is today. Give us some of your reflections, if you would, on how things have changed, especially
Okay,
in the actual cooking itself.
sure. Well, we in the first place, one of the rules for expulsion at the beginning was if you're not having fun. You know, if you took anything too seriously, that was grounds for expulsion. Now it's become much more serious because more money is involved. We used to give away plastic trophies and dime store ribbons. now there's money and big fancy trophies. That the monetization has changed things. Some would say for the better, some would say for the worse. I'd say it's a mix of both. Because it's hard work to compete, and if you win, you deserve the perks of winning. You know,
Mhm.
I'm happy for those who do win. I'm happy for those who compete. And I love to, one constant that I've noticed is when someone wins, everyone cheers, even their competitors. And I've seen that happen to this day. And I'm glad that has remained.
Mhm.
Judging is taken more seriously. We've had to take the, codify the rules, and they've changed over the years. We used to talk about look for a smoke ring after we've discovered sodium nitrate and what it can do. We no longer say don't look. We no longer say look for a smoke ring.
Mhm.
Um, with pork, we just had the pork category. Everyone was submitting pork tenderloin because that's the easiest to cook. So we took about 2 hours on the board and decided we need to make it a little tougher than that. So now it's pork shoulder or the Boston butt portion of the shoulder. Um,
Do you
uh,
think this is one thing that I really, really want? Maybe I should try to be on the board in order to try to put it on the table, but I really feel as if chicken should be kind of like the jack. There should be light and dark meat, and it
yeah,
really tests the cook's ability, and it isn't repetitious dark meat, thighs,
right,
etc. Do you
right.
think that that will ever make it to the rules?
I hope so because I'm on the same page with you. I've even written saying, they call it the chicken category, but anyone can turn in anything, any part of the chicken,
Mhm.
and it should be more specific than that. And I like the jack requirement of some white and some dark meat, because otherwise everybody turns in thighs because they're going to be the most moist and take take better to the barbecue method of cooking. So
And
it's
it does show that the competitors don't cook a lot of white meat when I was judging at the
right,
jar.
right. That's right. That's true. It's more
Yeah.
of a challenge, and I like that.
Do you think that there will ever be not a turn away from brisket, but add, I mean, you've got the Steak Cook-Off Association and some of those things now. That's fine. Um, but do you think that they'll ever uh, go to another piece of beef in the beef category? So you'd have brisket and not or, but and two
I'd like
things
to
to
see
cook.
that. The hot and fast steak cooking is becoming very popular, but I would like to see it go to a clod category, the beef
Mm.
Yeah.
clod,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and something challenging like that. I don't know. It it it's above my pay grade to guess whether it would ever change. But
I
I
would like to see a steamship round of beef that
yeah,
everybody would have to
yeah.
do.
yeah, yeah.
I think the
I'm
board would
kidding.
be
No, that's a little.
responsive to some input, especially from teams and competitors. You know, I would encourage everyone who wants some change in that category and the chicken category to speak up to the board because rules change and that they're not going to change unless there's some advocacy for it.
Mhm.
I would actually like to see a mystery category. Now, that doesn't mean a
Yeah,
mystery meat like what kind of roadkill this is,
yeah.
but like
Anything but
like you said, a clod or some knuckles or something, and it's just there and it's
yeah,
wholesome goodness entirety, and then see what they can do with it.
yeah.
That would be a good challenge, I think.
That is, and I know you may have seen at the Jack. They have the I know Jack about grilling,
Right.
and with that, they have mystery foods that the cooks aren't revealed to the cooks until the last minute, and then they have to come up with a combination of entrees for the judges.
Yeah.
It's a little chopped like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that not that anybody gets complacent or sedentary that way, but I think if you're really going to challenge somebody's cooking skills, because, let's face it, when you get to the Royal, when you get to the Jack, you know what you're doing. But,
Right.
when you had to do something a little different and show some different aspect of your culinary skills, I think that might be something to have some fun with. Anyway, we got to take another break and do a little commercial business, but we're going to be back with Hall of Famer Ardie Davis, Remus Powers, and another Hall of Famer, Leanne Whippen, right after this on BBQ Nation. Welcome back to the Nation. I'm JT, along with Leanne Whippen. We thank you for listening today. We're very fortunate to have Ardie Davis with us today, reflecting on his career with KCBS and barbecue in general. We'd like to thank the folks at Painterdale's Natural Beef, beef the way nature intended, and also Pig Powder, voted best rub on the planet. And I was going to say something like the best rubber on the planet is right there in your center screen, but I'll say Miss Whippen is Supreme Allied Commander of Pig Powder, and all you have to do is go to pigpowder.com, and she will make sure you get your order. We're talking, like I said, with Ardie Davis today. Ardie, is there one thing in your career, your barbecue career, that really sticks out to you? Good, bad, or indifferent?
Well, I'd have to say that, swearing in the judges at the Jack has always been a pleasure and a standout moment. But just the camaraderie, the fun of meeting new people, meeting you and Leanne and so many others, that's what stands out for me. And, as Ben and Jerry say, if it's not fun, why do it? So
well, I would
it's
agree
always
with
been
that.
fun.
Didn't you write the oath?
I wrote the oath. Yes,
Yeah.
I started a little barbecue sauce contest in our back patio, and I decided, well, the judges need to have an oath, so I wrote an oath for that. And then later, the board asked if I could adapt it for the Barbecue Society, and I said sure. So that's how it happened.
So have you ever, one of my favorite things in life is to pick on referees or judges or anything
Right.
like that. It's
Sure.
kind of what I do sometimes. But do you think
We all need
anybody,
it.
yeah, but when they're raising their hand to take the oath,
Yeah.
do you ever think some of them have their other hand behind their back with their fingers crossed?
Sure. They do. I want them to take it seriously, but you attract all kinds of judges with all kinds of attitudes. So I'm sure there are some that take it more seriously than others.
Now, Leanne, have you ever seen that?
I have not, and I can't say that I've done that because I'm kind of superstitious in that you should have two fingers crossed, and if I have a hand up doing the oath, how am I going to cross two fingers? So
you can't cross all four of them, kind of like that,
and toes, whatever.
Yeah.
I will say people do in general take it seriously, and that oath makes them feel like a real judge after they've taken it. Then they are on their honor. So I'm glad to hear you say that, Leanne.
By the way, Leanne is upset with you, Ardie.
I am.
Yes.
And you're going to reveal now, and there's nothing he can do about it. That's the very sad part. So go ahead, tell him why I'm upset.
she didn't get one of the hickory nuts.
Oh, well,
and
I can
it
take
was
care
your
of
last
that.
You can, because it was your last year, and I said to your partner in crime that would distribute them, Dirty Dick, I said, of all the years I didn't get the hickory nut.
Well,
I said this is the one I wanted most, and Jeff
I
got
just
one.
I happen to have one with your name on it. So
oh, I'm very excited. You don't know how much that means to me.
Let me know where to mail it, and you know, you can email me.
I will. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you right now. No, I'm kidding.
See, ask and ye
Yeah.
shall receive.
Oh, thank
Right.
you. I really appreciate that.
Well-
You know, you've written some books, wonderful books. I have, you know, your sauce book, and I know you did some work with Paul Kirk. And do you have any books on the horizon?
Right now, Carolyn Wells and Paul Kirk and I are working on a 40th anniversary KCBS cookbook. The
Are you reaching out to, go ahead.
contract has been written, and an agreement with the Barbecue Society has been drafted, and that's to be negotiated. So my fingers are crossed that we get going on that right away. I've already been collecting some recipes and doing some writing.
Are you going to
Yeah.
be like on your other, the KCBS book, you reached out to actual members for consideration for recipes to be included in the book.
Sure.
Are you going to do that with this?
Right.
Oh, that's great.
Carolyn's going to be in charge of that. We'll have a solicitation in the bull sheet and
That's great.
other media.
You'll have to get one from Leanne there.
Yes, for sure. I mean, she combines, you know, just so much. A professional chef with,
Oh,
after all,
thank
your
you.
Jim Tab's daughter.
Yeah, so
And,
that
I mean, you
counts
have
for something.
credentials. You have many stellar credentials.
Great. I
Yeah,
will
she
find
does.
Great
a
cook.
stellar recipe. Thank you.
That's why I keep her around.
Yes.
Yeah, she's actually very easy
So
to
you're
work with.
continuing to write for the Bulge.
Yes, yes. That's one that kind of reflects how the original founders thought, you know, about taking things seriously. They called the newsletter the bullshit.
Right.
So, yeah,
Well, I always
I do a
enjoy your
monthly
column.
column for them, and I write a monthly column for the Barbecue News.
Mhm.
I'll continue doing that. So,
Great.
Well, good.
in fact, for next month, it'll focus on the love month, of course. And
Mhm.
then in March, that's used to be tornado season. Now it's everywhere, every season. So
Yeah.
I'm working on that.
St. Patty's Day. Do something like
Yeah,
St.
St.
Patty's.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell them how to cook a green brisket.
A green brisket. Oh boy.
Wouldn't that'd be a hit? Trust
Well, I
me.
like to smoke pastrami, but
Yeah.
or put smoked corned beef, which I guess is pastrami. I would like to perfect pastrami beef ribs. You know, but you can't buy uh, corned beef ribs in Kansas City, so I'm going to have to learn how to brine.
Well,
the
I had some
ribs.
for the first time in my life this past year at the World Food Championships.
Yeah,
And I want to tell you, it was remarkable. I wish I knew what they did.
I'll
It was
bet.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a
So,
lot of places in Texas are doing that. You know, Cadillac has.
I love Cadillac.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah,
Mhm.
they have. My luck has been that every time I've gone to a Texas place with pastrami beef ribs on the
They're
menu,
sold out.
they're sold out.
Oh,
That
Lord.
tells you
So I'm going to do
something.
it at home.
Yeah.
You guys make me feel bad. The only thing I get up here is chicken salad sandwich. Come on now.
That's why I
Well,
don't visit you.
You're really deprived.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you on that.
That's some good looking beef behind you.
That's in
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
that was it. Yeah, that was at the National Barbecue Convention 3 years ago.
Great.
yeah.
Something like that.
God,
Yeah.
yeah. 3 years
Well,
ago.
I know, time flies.
Between that beef and the Leanne's cheesecake, I'm getting hungry.
It's
Me too.
it's brutal on this show sometimes.
Yeah.
Ardie. It is just
It
brutal.
is.
So all the years you were doing this and you had a family, um, what did your family think about this? Did they think like, oh, dad's off to a barbecue again, a
Oh.
competition? Lord help us, he'll be home on Monday type thing.
Yeah. Well, the kids probably felt a little bit deprived when I was gone. They didn't express it. Now they're both on board. The grandkids are on board. My wife she tolerates my passion for barbecue. I'd say that. she went to the Jack with me a couple of times. In 15 minutes, she was ready to leave.
Yeah.
It's just not her thing. And,
Right.
I know it's
you know,
that's just the way it is.
it just, you either get the bug or you don't. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
I
got
can
the bug.
I can relate to that. I judged horse shows for over 37 years. My wife came to one world championship that I was judging and one local show.
Yeah.
And the only reason I got her to go to the local show was the fact that it was a amateur division. I was only judging one morning. I only had about 10 classes to judge. We were out of there by noon, and I had to buy her lunch to get her to bribe her to get her to go.
Yeah.
So that was a tough deal. Is there an event that sticks out in your mind over all the years that you were involved, whether administering the oath, judging, being on the board, whatever it was there one thing that really stuck out in your mind?
Well, I've had some memorable times at Memphis in May when it was on the Mississippi River and Tom Lee Park. Been there many times. So I understand they've moved it now that the park has been renovated. I'd say the most memorable events happened at the Jack back when they had what I guess we were called the sacred cows, because it should have been bulls, because Silky Sullivan, Jim Tabb, Charlie Vergus, Remus, Falkirk, you could always count on us being there. And just many conversations with some of them, and as well as other cooks, and it all fits together, and it's a great memory. But I like to think ahead too and look forward to
Oh yeah.
more of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when you've experienced so much at that level, it's probably hard to pinpoint one thing.
It is.
You,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
I love stories. We need more stories in barbecue. Donnie Teal in Sperry, Oklahoma. He was with the boys from Tornado Alley that won the Jack in 2005. He's just that plain old, never smiles, what we call Okies. He told me a story about the Oklahoma barbecue. He said, just think about barbecue as a sandwich. You got Texas on the bottom with that, layer of bread, and you got Kansas City at the top with that layer of bread, and in between is all the good stuff.
okay.
And he could say that without a smile.
Well, there you go.
I've seen him smile, but he'll never let you take a picture of him smiling.
Got it. I know some folks like that.
Yeah.
We're going to take one quick break and come back and wrap up the show with Ardie Davis. I think Ardie's probably going to stick around a little bit for after hours. You're listening to Barbecue Nation with Jeff and Leanne. Welcome back to the nation. That's Barbecue Nation. I'm JT, along with Hall of Famer Leanne Whippen, proprietor. What's that stuff you sell? Pig powder. Yeah, pig powder.
It's good stuff.
Thanks to my dad. Trim Tabs Pig Powder. That's right.
Yeah, all you got to do is go to pigpowder.com. And we'd like to thank the folks at the Oregon Crab Commission for enlightening Leanne on how good Oregon Dungeness crab is when she was up here 3 months ago. Couldn't hardly, she was filling her pockets with the stuff every night when she went back to the hotel, Ardie. I'd say, no, we have to.
Second time I came back with Ziploc bags.
One of my grandsons just loves crab legs and chicken wings too, but he really is passionate about crab legs.
Yeah, it's
Well,
really so
I had to stop her at the door a couple of times. I said, we need that for tomorrow's show. And she's like, I don't care. I'm taking it to the hotel.
It If you had advice for a new cook getting ready to hit the circuit for KCBS, what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, for one thing, I'd say you have to be a lifelong learner. You're never going to learn it all. Uh, and one of the best ways to learn is ask other experienced cooks for tips, say, how do you do it? And all of them will emphasize the importance of temperature. Some will say, be sure you document everything so that when you're very successful with something, you can repeat it because you know exactly what you did. I just say keep learning and keep asking questions and documenting what you're doing. I'm the world's worst at that documentation part.
I have files of documentation.
I'll bet.
I'm not kidding. I was one of those, and then I got into the whiteboard action. So I would take pictures of the whiteboard, for
Yeah.
obvious reasons. But yeah, I was huge into documents, and I still have a 1 yellow page document, which is tattered. And I did Florida State 2 years ago, and I use that piece of paper as my guide. I still, it's like my lucky piece of paper, but I've won more grand champions with that piece of paper as my guide than anything
I'll
else.
bet. Well, people should listen to you.
I think people are getting better about notes though,
Yeah.
because the teams that I talk to, it seems like they are starting
Yeah, the
to.
worst thing a person can do to themselves is to think they know it all,
Mhm.
because nobody does. I mean, it's continuous learning.
Or they think they're going to remember.
Right.
Oh, I'll remember what I did.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And about the time you're slicing up something for the turn-in box and you go, oh God, I forgot to do
Forgot
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Mhm.
That is very, very true. So Ardie, what is your favorite thing to cook as far as barbecue?
Well, because it's easy, I most often will do pork ribs. Uh, the the loin baby backs are the easiest and the meatiest. So when I'm in a hurry, especially, I like to do them. But the spare rib is really my favorite.
Mhm.
And chicken thighs, chicken wings. When my grandson who loves chicken wings is here, I have him grill some chicken wings. He likes to grill them and then smoke them and then fry them. So they're crispy on the outside and have a kiss of smoke.
Mhm.
Very, very delicious.
Mhm.
Look at that, Leanne. He's drooling. He's
Well,
right
and
there.
you would like him, Leanne, because
I would.
he also loves crab legs.
Well,
Okay,
then
there
there
we
you
go. A lot in
go.
common.
Yeah.
A lot
There
in
you
common.
go.
Yeah.
There you go. So when you do ribs, is that little voice of Paul Kirk always in your ear
Oh, God.
telling you what
Well,
to
somewhat, and Guy Simpson too, because I like to share what I cook with neighbors. And of course, you always say, "Oh, you ought to open a restaurant. Those are the best ribs I ever had."
Mhm.
Guy Simpson said, "Everybody loves free ribs." So don't
Oh,
take
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
So I always remember that. But
I
the documentation part, that's Paul is on my shoulder with that.
I
Now,
bet he
Leanne, you're
is.
going to be.
No, God, you got 2 shoulders, so there you go.
Yeah, that's right.
That might be quite a dichotomy there, though. With Leanne on one and Paul on the other one, I
Oh,
don't know which
boy.
one would win out. I'm not sure.
I'll be distracted.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. If you're not talking barbecue and somebody else is cooking, what do you like to be fed?
What do I like to what?
If somebody else is doing the cooking, Ardie, you
Yeah.
don't have to cook. All right.
Yeah.
And it's not barbecue. I think he told me
Yeah.
one time that all the way home from different competitions, like from the Jack, you try to find good Chinese restaurants or something.
Yeah, that's true. I love, I learned to love fresh oysters on the half shell from Denny Mike in Maine. And Paul Kirk was with me, and he still chastises Denny Mike for giving me that passion, because that means fewer oysters for Paul. But
Yeah.
That's right.
I love those. So does my grandson, who likes the chicken wings and crab legs. I can't eat an artichoke, a steamed artichoke with garlic butter in public. You know, that's just something that really is, it's a passionate experience for me.
I see. I see. Do you wear a bib when you do that at home?
No, it's just
A
something
thing.
best done in privacy.
Okay. All right. We'll just let that go there. So, yeah, I love Chinese food when I can, if I'm
Yeah.
not cooking. When's the last
Yeah.
time you ordered like ribs in a restaurant?
Oh gosh, it's been a long, long time. Q39 and Joe's Kansas City. They're the closest. And
Mhm.
well, RJ's, I guess, about a week ago from
Oh,
RJ's.
okay. Okay.
A week ago.
There's a man who follows up on his passion. That's what I can say about that. That's all really good. When's the last time you ordered ribs in a restaurant, Leanne?
It's been a while. I can't even think. Isn't that? I'm kind of ashamed to say that, but true.
No, that's fine.
Well,
It's probably been 10 years.
There's really not a lot of good barbecue down in Florida. And when
Yeah.
I travel, a lot of the time I'm judging and I get so full from that I don't eat at restaurants, that are around
Yeah.
because I've eaten so much food at the contest. So
Yeah.
that makes it difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's been probably 10 years since I ordered ribs in a restaurant.
Really?
Yeah.
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 It's like Jessica Kirk, Paul Kirk's wife, says, "Why order ribs when the best is at home?" You know.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And,
That's very true.
yeah.
I don't know. It's just something we there's not a ton of good barbecue restaurants around the Portland area. There's some. I won't say there isn't any. There's some really good ones, but sometimes there's a place over in Southeast that's got a world famous hot dog stand,
Mhm.
a chili dog type thing,
Yep.
and a barbecue place is just down the street. I usually will stop and do the hot dog thing.
Yeah.
Just because it's a little
I'm
different.
a big hot dog fan.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
And you're in
me
good
too.
company because Julia Child was too.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
she was. Ardie, we've got to get out of here, but stick around
Well-
for after hours. We want to thank you for taking the time. And also, sir, thank you for all the years of dedication.
Oh, well, thank
Yeah.
you. It's as long as it's fun, I'll keep doing it.
You keep
Very
doing it.
good.
And
Okay.
Leanne and I will keep doing this. Next week, we've
Yes.
got Tori Campbell from Felton and Mary's Artisan Foods, and his grandparents started the famous Campbell's Barbecue in Southeast Portland. So it's a local story, but it has national implications. So Tori will be with us. So for Leanne and myself, we'd like to thank you for listening. And remember our motto, turn it, don't burn it. Take care, everybody. Cool.
That was good.
Yeah.
Very
okay.
good.
Now
Thank
we'll
you.
we'll do a quick little lightning round after hours, and because I don't think
And
Ardie
you can go eat.
and he can go eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be released to eat.
Yep. You
Here we
made me
go.
hungry.
Here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to After Hours here on Barbecue Nation. I'm JT along with Leanne Whippen. We thank you for listening. We've got Ardie Davis, i.e. Remus Powers, or I should say AKA Remus Powers, from barbecue fame. I was going to start naming off some stuff, and we don't have that much time in the day to list all his accomplishments. But I will say that of all the people I've met in the barbecue world, and I'm a relative newcomer compared to Ardie and Leanne, especially the competition world, but I have been around a little bit. but Ardie is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Even though,
And very interesting.
oh, he's very interesting.
Very interesting.
He's
Well,
got stories like crazy.
Yeah.
And as long as he sends you that hickory nut, you'll forgive him for everything else,
yeah,
right?
that's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
So let's do a few of these fun questions. Start out with something kind of funny. What's the worst thing you've ever eaten at a barbecue contest?
At a barbecue contest, that makes it difficult. Um, I was going to say a place in a restaurant in Minnesota that looked very promising, and I ordered ribs to go, and I was so disappointed I just had to throw them. You know,
Well, there you go.
Wow.
they were probably boiled and sauced, and they weren't real barbecue.
Well, that's a
But
good answer.
it's hard to remember any from a contest. They're usually doing their best, and what I've heard some say that they've turned in something that was probably they thought it was the worst they'd ever done, and it got a 180.
Well,
Or
see, there you go.
So
There
but,
you go.
I would say my biggest disappointment with some entries is they think if a little bit of seasoning is good, then a lot is better. And so if the meat is overpowered with sauce and rubs, and I can't taste the smoke and the meat in it, then I'm disappointed.
Mhm.
Fair,
So,
fair. Name something that when you first saw it, and this pertains to the barbecue world, when you first saw it, you were really hot on it. You were really fired up. And then a little later on, you changed your mind.
Good question. And golly, that's I, I'm at a loss to recall
Yeah, it's a
something.
tough one.
That's a
Yeah,
tough
it's a
one.
tough
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give you something easier. If you could cook for and then dine with a historical figure, who would it be and what would be on the menu?
That's a good one.
Mhm.
A historical figure. Well,
Yeah.
in the culinary world, uh, I would enjoy grilled hot dogs with Julia Child.
Mhm.
Well,
I
there
did
you
have
go.
the pleasure of meeting her once in California, and Bruce Aidells was cooking. Uh, it was at the program director's home in Napa, and so Bruce Aidells had his sausage there. He was cooking that, and the hostess ordered in pizza, but I didn't get to have a hot dog with Julia. So I would,
Well, it's sometime when we're not recording this, I'll tell you the stories about her and my buddy Graham Kerr, the Galloping Gourmet, and how they used to argue about who had the first, i.e., the best cooking show on TV. Because when they both started, they were the only two doing it.
yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
I'd love hearing that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you sometime. If
Okay.
Leanne declared you supreme ruler of barbecue for a day, what would you decree?
What would I decree? Golly.
Yes.
Well,
Root for the chicken.
yeah, I would change the rules on chicken for one thing.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I'd say keep an open mind, um, look to the future, recruit new people, uh, continue the camaraderie, don't take yourself too seriously, have fun. Those are things that come to mind.
There you go. Um, what's your least favorite activity in the world?
Least favorite activity.
besides watching the
Well,
Chiefs lose?
every week when I take out the garbage, I think this is a chore. And then I think, well, what if I had to take this to the dump? And,
Exactly.
so then I feel fortunate that we have, pickup service.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Do you remember the first thing you got in trouble for, if you ever did, as a kid?
as a kid, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I was mischievous. I put a big ant down a student's back in grade school, and unfortunately it stung him or bit him, whatever ants do. And so I had to apologize to him in front of the whole class,
Oh,
and
wow.
I was humiliated.
Oh
Mm.
boy. Well, besides putting an ant down somebody's shirt, if you could erase one mistake from your own personal history, what would it be and why?
Oh golly, that's that's a challenge, and it'd probably be oh, oh I think I wish I could be a better person, in so many ways. Um, I would, it'd be embarrassing to share,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I
sometimes, yeah,
think
that's
everybody
hard.
has some of those in their life, things you wish you hadn't done or you wish you could take back. So
Yep.
Yep.
Those are those things called
yeah, sort
skeletons.
of welcome to the
Yep.
human race.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah,
Um, do you recall what the absolute best day in your life so far was?
absolute best.
Yes.
Well, I have good memories from childhood going to my Aunt Maud's house. She'd have a pot of pinto beans and some jiffy cornbread, a salad, and she was very animated, hugger kind of aunt. And I have good memories from that.
Good.
So
Good, good. If you could teach a God, I almost hate this question. If you could teach a politician to barbecue or cook, who would it be, and what advice would you give them?
politician, man, I guess they all have to pretend that they like barbecue. I think once they taste it, they would be hooked. Um, what would I?
You have to pick a politician.
Yeah, tell
I
us
pick a
one.
politician.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I think Nikki Haley could learn some lessons in South Carolina barbecue.
Probably.
Salt
Right.
I
pork
like that.
and
Yeah, that's
mustard
good.
sauce. Um, I would I would want to know how, with her background, could she add a little zest to the South Carolina barbecue? I don't
Well, okay.
I like that.
Sure.
know.
What is something that your spouse was absolutely right about, but you still think she was wrong?
She's never wrong.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Very good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Nothing.
well, yeah.
We're just gonna let that go. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
let
just
it
gonna let
go.
that go. If you were an animal, what animal would you be, Ardie?
Well, that's easy for me. I'd be a sparrow because anywhere you go, anywhere in the country or even international travel, you'll find the sparrow. They're survivors. They're everywhere.
Okay. Good.
Interesting.
Um, what would your last meal be on death row?
Golly, on death row.
Yeah. Something fun. Think about.
Well, it'd be a variety because um, I'd love some chicken wings, some fresh oysters, some pasta with pesto, basil pesto,
Mm.
um, some that cheesecake Leanne makes. I'd
Yeah.
have to have that.
You don't have to worry if you're on death row. Who the hell
Yeah.
cares about your cholesterol, right?
You can have
it's-
anything,
have-
right?
Yeah.
You can have anything, right?
Yeah. If you could become instantly a master of a musical instrument, what instrument would it be?
Hmm. I'd love to be able to play the guitar, the acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
My dad was good on a harmonica, but I'd, I'd, I've always admired Woody Guthrie and his singer-songwriter career.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
he just played that plain old acoustic guitar. So did many of the old blues singers.
Mm-hmm.
You have a favorite classic movie? I always give the example for myself of Casablanca for me.
Huh. That's a good one.
Leanne likes the Smurfs, but what would
Well,
you?
golly, classic movie.
Yeah.
Well, I'm I've lived in Kansas for a long time, so I like to revisit The Wizard of Oz from time to time.
That's a
there-
good one.
there you
I like
go.
I have that in DVD and VCR.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then I have two earlier versions when movies were silent without Judy Garland. So,
Oh, interesting.
Cool.
Hmm.
That's a classic. Then
yep.
hard to find classic. What is one thing you miss about your time in school or college besides putting ants down people's shirts?
Oh, well, I wish I had understood math. You know, the way I was taught math is just memorizing. And so I would just guess at the answer to math quizzes. And as I've grown older, I've understood the importance of math and the logic behind it. So I wish I had understood that when I was younger.
So, two more questions, and one of them is a follow up from what you were just saying. Do you think cooking can help kids who have trouble learning math?
I do. I think that's a hands-on, what they call integrated thematic instruction. You know, that's the best way to learn is hands-on,
Mhm.
in cooking especially. You
Well,
learn math and you could learn culture by cooking different dishes from different countries. So yeah.
very good. Last one. Name a book that should be mandatory reading for everybody.
Okay. I would say I have a handbook of logic that I was the textbook in the logic class I took in college. And so often I hear the basic fallacies repeated over and over. And the first thing you learn in a logic class is the tu quo is probably the most abused fallacy, and that's, well, you do it too, and or whataboutism, that kind of thing. So I would say a handbook of logic.
Well, very good. Ardie Davis, it has been a true pleasure to have you back on the show, Remus
Yes.
Powers.
It's always a pleasure to be with you and Leanne. Thank you.
Well, we're just those kind of people. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be at the Jack next year, do you think? Or
Well, I've learned to never say never, but I don't plan to be there next year.
I see.
I've been working on Tom Parker Bowles to come again. He was there, I've forgotten what year, but several years ago. And we had barbecue with him in London about 3 years ago, and he said he would come back. If he comes back, I'll either be there or plan on having him come to Kansas City because he talked about grazing from Lynchburg to Kansas City.
Well, there
Oh,
you go.
On
great.
barbecue. But if I'm fortunate to be alive by the time they celebrate they're going, I think, one of their anniversaries, I'll try to be back for one of those.
Good.
I see.
Well,
Good.
we will see you there then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ardie
Camera.
Davis, barbecue
Go get
icon.
something to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're keeping this man from his dinner. So,
that's right.
all right. And good luck to the Chiefs. Okay.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for
That's,
your time.
yes.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Been a pleasure.
That's going to wrap it up for After Hours this week. For Leanne and myself, we thank you for listening. Don't forget our motto here: turn it, don't burn it. You can follow us on all the social media platforms out there. You just start with the letter B and the next letter B and the next letter Q, and after that, we'll probably show up. So until next week, we thank you for listening. Take care, everybody. Have a good week.